This little piggy, he never made it home. This is the Godfather of pork roast.
Okay, we got to score this piggy. What that's going to do essentially is impart all of the flavour from these beautiful spices that we're going to add to the mix. It's also going to get that seasoning deep inside of the skin and the flesh that we're looking for. So what I'm doing is I've just got a nice sharp knife. It's good if you have one, helps. And I'm just going to run that along the skin of the belly. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm going to salt little piggy. What we need to do is we need to extract any residual moisture that's left in that skin. So it's essentially going to sweat. Salt's going to draw out the moisture from the pig skin because we want that to be really nice and dry. Okay, piggy's been salted. You want to leave that for about an hour now. That's going to draw out all of that moisture that's in the skin to make pools of sweat literally on top of the skin. With our vegetables for this pork, what we're doing essentially is we're going to put them in the tray underneath the pig belly. We're going to put a little bit of white wine, we're going to put a little bit of stock in there. So we don't need to cut these to perfection. We don't need fantastic knife skills. We need to be able to bash these vegetables basically. We're going to beat the shit out of them. We're going to get as much flavour as we possibly can into that tray, into those braising juices. Now our garlic is set aside to lick its wounds. We've got our banana shallot. So again, what we're going to do, really rough chop. We're never going to peel it, to be honest. We're just going to chop it in half, just like this. All we really want is a little bit of colour on the face of these onions, but again, they're essentially just to flavour the sauce and the meat of that beautiful little piggy. Fennel and pork are best friends. They've been best friends since high school. Fennel slept with pork's missus once, but they made up. They came to fisticuffs and they solved their differences. They're good friends again. They go to dinner every now and then. Alright, we're going to cut this fennel. Again, it's going to be really rough. That fennel up with your knife. It's good to have a sharp knife to do this. You really just want nice chunks. When you get down to the bulb, cut that in half. And we're just going to go nice big pieces, mirepoix style, as if you were going to make a stock, because that's what you are making. Because that's how I do around here. Leek, big boy, one sandy, dirty boy. Sorry, I'm cracking myself up. One sandy, dirty boy. Alright, again, really easy. I'm just gonna chop roughly through it. Boom, 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 boom. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Get in the pile of that's gonna make the pork taste good. Nashi pears, so sweet. They keep their firmness even when they've been cooked for quite a long time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut these into thirds, skin on, don't take the core out. The pork belly has layers, like an onion, or like Shrek. Alrighty, so we've got our vegetables. We're gonna impart a lot of flavor into that pig. We've got our pear that's gonna be a bit of a base, and we've got our spices. What we need now is a baking tray. So you need a nice thick baking tray, preferably a non-stick. What's one that's going to sit on top of a stove and not scorch at the bottom. Put your baking tray onto a medium to high flame. You want to get that sucker pretty hot before you add your oil. If you add your oil first, you're going to burn it. It's going to taste like Now, I'm just going to add a touch more olive oil to make sure we get some nice caramelization on those pears. A little bit in the center, flesh side down in my pan. And these are essentially going to be the rack for our belly pork. My vegetables are still sizzling behind me. I'm just taking them off the heat briefly so that I can dry my pork belly and not scorch the veggies. So, as you can see on the top of this pig, in the lowest part, we've got a pool forming of the moisture that's left inside that skin, and that salt's just drawn that all up. So what I want to do is just get some paper towel. We're just going to press that. What will happen if you don't dry the skin properly is the skin's going to stew while it's in the oven, and it's not going to be crispy at all. It's going to be very chewy, very gluey. So you want to make sure you really get all of the moisture off of that. I'm just going to bring them back up to temperature because I want to place this pork belly skin down into that baking pan. What I want to do is just bring that skin up to temperature before the flesh, so that it starts to crisp up in the oven before our meat essentially starts to cook. So we brought that skin up to temperature. As you can see, it's starting to color on the bottom there. We don't want to color it too much in the pan. We want to let that nice dry oven heat do all of the work. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange these gnashy pears so they're going to sit perfectly underneath our pig belly. Skin side up now. We're getting ready for roasting. Okay, so I'm going to deglaze this pan now with a little bit of white wine. Now, as you might be able to see, our white wine has lifted all of those flavors off the bottom of the pan. I'm going to add some chicken stock to the pan, and it's going to cover the flesh of that pork belly and leave the skin nice and dry on top. Okay, our chicken stock and white wine has come to the simmer. You don't want to boil it or you're going to start cooking that meat. You want to bring it up to temperature so that it continues to braise at a low temperature in the oven. Now what I've done is I've preset my oven to 200 degrees Celsius. It depends, again, if you have a domestic oven you might want to go a little bit higher, a little bit lower, depending on how fierce that little thing is. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil to that skin. And what it's going to do is it's going to get really, really hot on the top of that skin, and it's going to cook off any residual water that we have on the top there. So it's going to get nice and crispy. Oh. In you go, little piggy. Thank you for being you. Pig's ready. The skin has come out so crunchy, so crisp. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush some honey over the top of that skin. There's nothing that loves salty more than sweet. Nothing that loves sweet more than salty. Let's cut this belly. I'm going to shift them to the side. I'm going to take one edge off because that edge is going to be a little bit dry just because of the roasting process. If your knife doesn't make noise when you cut through your pork belly, you're an absolute Put that edge to the side and eat it while you prep it. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Hey guys, if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more weekly content.
And write in the comments what you'd like us to have a crack at next.
There's so much flavor in this. But he is one sandy boy, one dirty boy. You gotta wash him well.